Hello everyone. Welcome once again to Chem.Talk. Today I am starting new chapter of class 12th D and F block elements. Now this is the first part of this chapter and here we will study about the introduction, that is definition, general trends of D block elements like their electronic configuration, ionization enthalpies, oxidation states, etc. So let us start this chapter. Now topic covered in this part are definition of D block elements and transition elements, position of D block elements in the periodic table, electronic configuration of D block elements, their oxidation states and their atomic size and its variation in period and in a group, and their ionization enthalpy. So let us start D block elements with their definition. तो डी ब्लॉक एलिमेंट्स क्या होते हैं? एलिमेंट्स इन विच लास्ट इलेक्ट्रॉन एंटर्स इनटू n-1 d subshell are called d block element. Now n-1 d subshell is also called penultimate shell. Now what is ultimate shell, penultimate shell and anti-penultimate shell? So see the figure here. The outermost shell is called valence shell or it is called nth shell. Similarly, second last shell is called n-1 subshell or penultimate shell, and the second inner shell is called n-2 subshell or anti-penultimate. Now we know that we have four types of subshells: S, P, D and F. So always remember that S and P, these two subshells are always filled in ultimate shell, that is NS and NP shell. Similarly, D subshells are always filled in anti-penultimate shell like n-1 D subshell, and F block elements are always filled in anti-penultimate shell, that is n-2 subshell. So this is about the definition of D block elements. Now what are transition elements? See, D block elements are present in between S block and P block of the periodic table. So there is a transition in the properties from metals to non-metals. Hence they are called transition elements. Now what is the exact definition of transition elements? Elements in which partially filled n-1 d subshells are present, they are called transition elements. Now partially filled n-1 d subshell means the configuration should be n-1 d 1 to 9. Now according to this definition, last element of the 3D, 4D and 5D series, that is zinc, cadmium and mercury, those are having full filled configuration, are not considered as transition element because they have full filled configuration, but they are called D block elements because the last electron enters into the n-1 d subshell. Now this point is very important. इस साल बोर्ड में ये क्वेश्चन पूछा गया था कि why zinc, cadmium and mercury are not termed as transition elements though they are D block elements. So this is very important point. Now the next is position of D block elements in the periodic table. Now see the figure. These two are S block element, that is group 1 and group 2 are termed as S block elements. Similarly, group 13 to group 18 are termed as P block elements. Now group 3 to group 12, these are termed as D block elements. So D block elements are present in between S block and P block. Now D block elements are classified into four series. You can see this is the first series, this is the second series, this is the third series and this is the fourth series. Now first transition series is also known as 3D series. It is present in fourth period. You know that D orbitals are always filled in penultimate shell. So in fourth period 3D orbitals are filled and it starts from scandium atomic number 21 and ends at zinc, that is atomic number 30, and total 10 elements are present in the first transition series. Similarly, second transition series is also called 4D series. It is present in fifth period and it starts with yttrium, ends at cadmium. Again, this series having 10 elements. Now the third transition series is also known as 5D series. It is present in the sixth period of the periodic table. It starts from lanthanum atomic number 57 and ends at mercury, that is atomic number 8. It is also having total 10 elements. Now the last is 4 transition series. It is also called 6D series. It is present in 7th period of the periodic table. It starts from actinium 89 and it is still incomplete. So let us start with the electronic configuration and oxidation states of first transition series. Now First, I am taking electronic configuration. I am not taking it in detail because मैंने पहले already एक video इस पर बनाया है. Please check it out. So, talking about electronic configuration, scandium is having atomic number 21 and nearest noble gas is argon, that is having atomic number 18. So, its configuration is argon, then 3d1 4s2. Similarly, the titanium have configuration 3d2 4s2, vanadium 3d3 4s2. Now, chromium is having exceptional configuration. I highlighted it yellow because of extra stability of half filled D5 configuration. So its configuration is 3d5 4s1 instead of 3d4 4s2. Now the next is argon configuration 3d5 4s2, iron having configuration 3d6 4s2, cobalt is having configuration 3d7 4s2, nickel 3d8 4s2. Now copper again have exceptional electronic configuration because of the fully filled D10 configuration, which is more stable. So its configuration is 3d10 4s1 instead of 3d9 4s2. And zinc is having configuration 3d10 4s2. So the main point about the electronic configuration is that chromium and copper show exceptional electronic configuration because of extra stability of half filled and full filled configuration. Now coming to oxidation states. D block elements show variable oxidation states, means they show more than one oxidation state. So what is the reason for that? The reason is the energy gap between the N-1 D subshell and NS subshell is very small. So they both participate in the bonding and hence they show variable oxidation state. This is very, very important. Now some important points for oxidation states are: when only NS orbitals are participating, then the lower oxidation state is exhibited. When both NS and N-1 D orbitals are participating, then higher oxidation state is exhibited. Now, the highest oxidation state are shown in the complexes oxides and fluorides. Now, why is it so? Because oxide and oxygen and fluorine are most electronegative element. Also, they are having small size. Now, minimum oxidation state is equal to the number of NS electron, and the maximum oxidation state for first 5 member is equal to NS electron plus N-1 D electron. But this is applicable only for first 5 members because after that the pairing will start. Now, except zinc and scandium, all the 3D elements show variable oxidation state. See here, scandium show the oxidation state of only +3. Now, what is the reason that +2 oxidation state is not shown by scandium? Because the energy gap between 3D and 4s is very small. So, whenever energy is supplied, all the 3 electrons remove together. That is why it show only +3 oxidation state. Now, zinc, coming to the zinc after removing 2 electrons from 4s, 3d10 configuration is extra stable and hence the third electron is not removed because a large amount of energy is required for that. Hence, zinc only show +2 oxidation state. Now, +1 oxidation state is shown by only 2 elements, that is copper and chromium. I highlighted it with red color. Highest oxidation state is shown by manganese, that is +7 oxidation state. Like in KMnO4, manganese show +7 oxidation state. It is shown by the pink highlighter. Now, 2 more points are that the least density element is scandium and the most abundant element is आयरन. सो नाउ द इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन ऑफ 4D सीरीज. यहाँ पे आपको ये ध्यान रखना है कि आपको 3 कॉन्फ़िगरेशन नहीं लिखने हैं, D3, D6 एंड D9. आई ऑलरेडी एक्सप्लेन इन यू द प्रीवियस वीडियो. तो स्टार्ट करते हैं इट्रियम से. इट्रियम कॉन्फ़िगरेशन इज कॉन्फ़िगरेशन ऑफ क्रिप्टन, आफ्टर दैट 4D1 5s2, जर्कोनियम 4D2 5s2, नायोबियम 4D4 5s1 बिकॉज हमको 4D3 नहीं लिखना है. देन मोलिब्डेनम 4D5 5s1, देन टेक्नीशियम 4D5 5s2, रुदेनियम 4D7 5s1 बिकॉज हमें 4D6 नहीं लिखना है. आफ्टर दैट रोडियम 4D8 5s1, देन पैलेडियम 4D10 5s0. अगेन वी शुड नॉट राइट 4D9, hence we write it 4D10. Then silver having 4D10 5s1 configuration and cadmium having full filled 4D10 5s2 configuration. Now coming to the 5D series, यहाँ पे आपको ये ध्यान रखना है कि आपको D8 नहीं लिखना है. तो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन ऑफ लैंथनम इज कॉन्फ़िगरेशन ऑफ xenon, आफ्टर दैट 5D1 6s2, हैफनियम 5D2 6s2. यहाँ पे ध्यान रखना है कि 4f14 पहले जुड़ जाएगा बिकॉज 14 एलिमेंट्स ऑफ फर्स्ट इनर ट्रांजिशन सीरीज दैट इज 4f सीरीज यहाँ पे ऐड हो जाएंगे. सो 5D2 6s2. नाउ टेंटलम 5D3 6s2, टंगस्टन 5D4 6s2, rhenium 5d 56s2, osmium 5d 6s2, iridium 5d 7 6s2, platinum 5d 9 6s1 because हमें D8 configuration नहीं लिखना है. That is why next is D9. So 5d 9 6s1 is the configuration of for platinum. Then gold is having 5d 10 6s1 and mercury is having 5d 10 6s. Now some points to be noted here. Zinc and cadmium are soft metals because of their full filled configuration. There is no unpaired electron, hence the bonding is not much strong and hence they are soft metals. Mercury exists in liquid state because of the same reason. Now tungsten has very high melting point because of the number of unpaired electron is more. Now technetium is the first man-made element and ruthenium and osmium show highest oxidation state, that is +8. Actually this is the highest oxidation state shown by any element in the periodic table. So now the next trend is atomic radii. Now size of the element depends upon two factors. First is effective nuclear charge, that is Z effective. Now what is Z effective? It is the number of protons present in the nucleus. Now you see when we move left to right, the number of protons increases continuously and the electrons are filled in the same shell. So the electron experience more nuclear attraction, that is Z effective is more and the size will decrease. So more the effective nuclear charge, less will be the size. Now the second factor which affect the size is electron repulsion force. Now as the number of electron in the outer shells increases, the electron repulsion forces also increases, which results in the increase in size. So we can say that these two factors, that is Z effective and the electron repulsion, are actually opposes each other. Z effective decreases the size of the element and the electron repulsion increases the size of the element. Now three cases may be possible. If first case is if the Z effective is greater than the repulsion forces, then the size will decreases. It happens when the number of electrons in the outer shells are less. Now the second case is when Z effective and the repulsion forces are equal, then the size will remain constant. It happens in the middle of the series. And third case is that the repulsion forces are greater than Z effective. It happens when the outer shells are nearly filled, that is by the end of the series. And in this case the size will increase. So let us start variation of size in a period. Now I am taking first transition series, that is scandium to zinc. Now first, when we move from scandium to manganese, then you can see that size continuously decreases as the regular trend. 144, 132, 122, 118 and 117. It is because Z effective is greater than that of repulsion forces. As the number of proton increases, and number of electron also increases, but it is not as much as the effective nuclear charge. Hence, the effective nuclear charge factor is more prominent and overall there is a decrease in size. Now next I am taking from iron to nickel. Now iron to nickel, the size is nearly constant. You can see 117, 116 and 115 picometer. This is because the Z effective and the repulsion forces neutralize each other. They are equal in strength, hence the size remains constant. Now let us come to copper and to zinc, that is at the end of the series. Now here you can see there is increase in size. Now the reason is because they are having full filled configuration. Copper and zinc both are having full filled configuration, due to which the repulsion forces are much more than that of effective nuclear charge, and hence the result is increase in size. Now the variation of size in a group. Normally when we move down the group, the size increases because the number of shells increases. Now I am taking the first element of 3D, 4D and 5D series, that is scandium, yttrium and lanthanum. Now you can see they follow the regular trend, that is on moving down the group the size increases 144 to 180 and 187. That is the regular trend is follow and the size is increases when we move down the group. Now this is not the case of that second member, that is titanium, zirconium and hafnium. Now on moving from titanium to zirconium, the size increases as the regular trend, but on moving zirconium to hafnium, the size is nearly constant. Now why is it so? It is because before the electron enters into hafnium, 4 F electrons are introduced, that is 14 electrons in F subshells are filled. and these 4f electrons actually produce poor shielding because of their diffuse shape. And because of poor shielding, the outer electrons are attracted towards the nucleus with greater force, that is Z effective is more, and due to which the size remains constant. Now the next thing is, what is screening effect or shielding effect? Actually, the electrons present in the inner subshells shield the outer electrons by the nuclear attraction, and this is called shielding effect or screening effect. Now S subshell is spherical in shape, so it properly shields the outer electrons, so its screening effect is highest. Then P also having screening effect, good. Now D is having slightly less screening effect, but F is having very poor shielding effect or screening effect because of its diffused shape. Now the next trend is ionization enthalpy. Now what is the definition of ionization enthalpy? The energy required to remove an electron from the outermost shell of an isolated gaseous atom is called ionization enthalpy. Now, so we can say that ionization enthalpy is directly related to the size. More the size, less will be the ionization enthalpy and vice versa. Now, I am again taking the first transition series from scandium to zinc. Now, ionization enthalpy 1 is the energy required to remove first electron. Ionization enthalpy 2 is the energy required to remove second electron, and the ionization enthalpy 3 is equal to energy required to remove the third electron. And we can say that second ionization enthalpy is always greater than that of first. What is the reason? Because after removing one electron, the atom is converted into the positively charged ion, and it is very difficult to remove electron from the positively charged ion because their size is decreases and the number of protons are more as compared to number of electron, so the removal of second electron is difficult. Similarly, the removal of third electron is much more difficult than the second one. That is why ionization enthalpy third is greatest. Now, so I am talking about first ionization enthalpy first I am telling you that ionization enthalpy, what is the general trend for the ionization enthalpy. Now in general, when we move left to right, the size decreases, and when the size decreases, it is difficult to remove electron, hence ionization enthalpy should increase in the period. Now D block elements have ionization enthalpy more than that of S block elements because their size is less than that of S block elements, hence more energy is required to remove electron. Now if we compare the ionization enthalpy of D block with that of P block, then they have less ionization enthalpy because their size is more than that of P block, so electron is easily removed with less ionization enthalpy. So let us start with ionization enthalpy 1. Now ionization enthalpy 1 follow a regular trend with some irregularities, that is from iron to nickel. We already seen that iron to nickel the size remains constant, and that is why the ionization enthalpy also nearly constant, so it can be explained on the basis of its size. Now the second is that ionization enthalpy of zinc is comparatively very high. Now what is the reason for this? The reason is stable D10-4s2 configuration. This stable and symmetrical configuration, due to this configuration the electron removal is very difficult, hence the first ionization enthalpy of zinc is exceptionally high in its respective series. Now coming to ionization enthalpy second. Now ionization enthalpy second for chromium is much more than that of manganese. You can see the difference. Chromium is having 1592 while manganese is having 1509. जबकि रेगुलर ट्रेंड में क्या होना चाहिए था? आयनाइजेशन एंथैल्पी रेगुलर इंक्रीज होनी चाहिए थी. तो रीजन इज आफ्टर रिमूविंग वन इलेक्ट्रॉन द chromium acquired D5 configuration here, and this is a stable configuration, so removal of electron from the stable configuration is very difficult, hence second ionization enthalpy is more in chromium. Now in case of manganese, after removing one electron, it is having configuration 4s1. Now if we remove one electron from 4s, then it acquired more stable D5 configuration, hence this electron is easily removed and its ionization enthalpy 2 is less. Now, the second thing is that ionization enthalpy 2 of copper is more than that of zinc. Now see here, copper is having 1958. Again the same reason, after removing one electron from 4s, it acquired D10 configuration which is stable. So the removal of second electron is very difficult. Hence second ionization enthalpy for copper is very high, that is 1958 kilojoule per mole. On the other hand, in case of zinc, we see that ionization enthalpy is 1734, that is comparatively low. Now what is the reason? Because after removing one electron, the configuration is 4s1, and if we remove one electron from s, then it acquired the stable D10 configuration, due to which its second ionization enthalpy is less. Now I am taking the ionization enthalpy 3. So ionization enthalpy third for manganese is comparatively high. Now you can see here manganese is having ionization enthalpy 3260. Now why is it so? Because after removing the two electrons, it is having 4s0 3d5 configuration, that is half filled configuration, and it is difficult to remove this electron from half filled configuration, hence its ionization enthalpy is very high. Now coming to the next, that is iron, its ionization enthalpy is comparatively very low. Now what is the reason? After removing two electrons, it is having D6 configuration. Now in D6 configuration, if we remove the electron, then it is converted into stable D5 configuration. So this electron is easily removed, hence the ionization enthalpy is less in case of iron. Now the second thing is that zinc is having comparatively high ionization enthalpy. Now the reason is because of its stable D10 configuration, all the electrons are paired, hence after removing two electrons from 4s, it is having 3d10 configuration, and it is very difficult to remove the electron from the stable D10 configuration. Now the next is predicting the thermodynamic stability of a complex on the basis of its ionization enthalpy. Now you should remember one thing, that smaller the ionization enthalpy of a metal, greater will be the stability of its compound. Why is it so? Because if the ionization enthalpy is less, then electrons are easily removed and it is easily converted into ions, and the ions are more stable. Now I am taking one example. Nickel plus 2 compounds are more stable than platinum plus 2 compound. Why is it so? Because here see in the table, because in the formation of nickel plus 2 and one electron and second electron is removed, so ionization enthalpy 1 and ionization enthalpy 2 are considered. So here the sum of the ionization enthalpy 1 and 2 for nickel is less than that of platinum. Hence nickel plus 2 is easily formed and it is more stable. But if we compare the plus 4 ions of nickel and platinum, then the platinum plus 4 ion is more stable because its ionization enthalpy is less than that of nickel. That is ionization enthalpy third, fourth is less than that of nickel. That is why platinum 4 is more stable. Now this is the reason that potassium hexachloridoplatinate with platinum oxidation state 4 is a well-known compound, because platinum is quite stable in plus 4 oxidation state, but potassium hexachloridonickelate is not known, as nickel 4 complexes are not at all stable. Hope you liked the video. Please check the description box for the link of previous two videos of the same topic, that is easy way to learn the d block elements and electronic configuration and magnetic moment of d block elements. Please like the video if you find it useful and subscribe my channel for the next part of this chapter. Thank you.